Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I am Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Cockins, and we're talking about this last episode, almost the end of this run, and this episode is a bit fun because we got some things right, Stuart. A couple of little things, and this episode is one of those two things. What did we get right, Stuart?
Today we're talking specifically about the Empress's ship, more specifically, the power core for that ship, which was the sun, which people asked John, why was it designed that way, John Eves? And he did say it was story-driven, purpose-driven. And we had speculated that it was actually, that was going to be used as a plot device to help get them back. And sure enough, they used it. So there you have it.
Yeah, it was awesome. We love doing these conceptual videos because it's great to then either be right or be so far off that it's like, wow, they went for that. But in our Charon episode last week, at like 7-minute mark, a fan pointed out that I literally called out that, okay, obviously the form for its function, it must have a purpose, and they'll have to blow up the ship and blow up the core, and it'll power the spore drive and they'll get home. Which is a little bit... That is a certain plot, didn't have to happen. You specifically said, well, that's a bit contrived, but it's alright.
Well, it is contrived, but it does explain the radical nature of that ship design, though.
Well,
it was something that
story reasons.
Yes, because they specifically needed something to help them get home. And they needed a way that the Mirror Universe counterparts were using the spore network, the Mycelium network, and they were actually using it to generate that and power that ship. So it was quite interesting that way.
I mean, what did you think about the reveal of it being not a sun, but a Mycelium hyperpower reactor?
Made me very happy. I thought the whole sun idea was kind of dumb. We speculated on that too, saying the ship was way too small, didn't fit with scaling. It's kind of like a mini Dyson sphere, but
which is meant to be the heightest. That is technology you think with no clue how that could be done. That's the Star Trek god tech, you know. So having that in any universe is like, not for humans.
Exactly. So I was very happy to find out that they were just tapping into the network and generating this ball of energy, which was just sucking the network dry. To power their ship. I thought that was actually a fantastic way to do that. So kudos to that. I mean, it was very contrived, though.
Yeah, I think I said in our review, obviously this show has a tendency of having visuals that are not as clear as they could be to stop the spoiling effect of the visuals. Like having an asteroid field, the debris field at the end of the whole season. If you'd seen Klingon hulls, okay, that tells you, okay, it's a Klingon battlefield, blah, blah, blah. Or Earthships, blah, 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 same thing. So the core looks like a sun. I mean, we don't know what Mycelium core looks like, but it just looks like a sun with some, you know what I mean? It didn't really relate to... It would have been cool if it was like a more actual realization, I think, would make more sense, would be a outer force field with the spores inside, just shimmering blue, and as you get closer, it turns out to be hundreds of millions of spores, rather than be... Although they did say the gravity of having so many things super condensed it, which I guess is basically just a sun. But it was too visually this way, whereas it would have been nice if it linked to the spores a bit more visually. But it might have given it away. It would have given it away. So it's one of those things, like you said, John was specifically said he wasn't told what this would play in the story per se. Just the ship needs these things. So I'm guessing they did an exterior core that the Discovery can shoot easily. And a big ship. And a shuttle bay. And that's very... How do you... Without doing something like the whale probe and having a thing come out and be like, this is the power of rom core, rom. The design makes a lot of sense if it's flying through it, but it's... Just put the core inside or something.
Yeah, I mean, there could have been a way to have it inside and have it sabotaged by Michael for them to... But it visual, you did say visually, and it did kind of have a visual tie-in with the blue lightning kind of around it, which we kind of speculated about early on as well.
Yeah, well at least I'll say the core should have been blue then. If it was a blue core and not sun, everything we see in Mycelium is blue. It doesn't have to be blue, or bluey green.
Yeah.
But
that would have worked well. It could have been like I would have thought like it was a small dwarf star or something, a collapsed star at first, but would have made sense that would have been the visual tie-in, Yeah,
and they could have had like corona of spores, and so in one shot you see them as being lots of little particles, like in I think it's a Voyager episode. You see like a ring, a gas giant with a ring. It looks like a solid piece, but as soon as they get close, for the close-ups of the scene, it's actually millions of pieces of rock because far enough away it looks solid.
Yeah.
So that would have been cool, certainly. But I mean, the red obviously worked really well visually. It looked cool. Essentially, someone pointed out, it was interesting. Someone pointed out that this is one of the few ships to have red facades on its Discovery-esque engines.
Yes, I noticed that too, which is odd because we've kind of been hoping that there'd be red bazaars on other ships as well to tie in to the Prime timeline. But I don't know, maybe I don't know.
Because every one of those choices is a choice, you know. This is a color correction. It's a color grading panel, and you can pick the color. So someone says to them, "Oh, which facade should I use?" "Oh, use the red." "Why?"
Because they're supposed to be red? Okay, then.
Yeah, I didn't notice it specifically. I just noted they were Discovery-esque nacelles. But yeah, there you go. Form follows function. There's a reason. You know, we've said this from very, very, very early on. You know, the spore drive was a piece of technology. It was in Discovery. Discovery had to spin. Everyone complained for the holes. Form follows function. You know, you got to give them some credit for those big things. I mean, things like the Klingon ships that don't follow any particular rationale. Okay, they're their own thing. Form does not follow function. They're just new design. You know, but these two ships, form does follow function. And okay, good. Just wish there was more Federation. You know, just had a saucer would have been cool. You know, saucer-esque, livable space. I don't know.
Yeah, just something. Even like you said, even if it was there's the one ship from TNG that had the glowing sphere that powered it. That was all like multicolored. I can't remember the name of the episode or the ship.
Is it Andrew's one?
It is.
Yeah, where they're all infected and they can't. Yeah.
Yes. Like something like that in the middle of the ship, but with the blue, they could see the spores in there. That would have been cool. But I think it would have been an instant visual giveaway of what was going on. And I don't know if they necessarily wanted that because they kind of, the reveal of how the Mirror Universe Stamets was using the network was kind of interesting. So there's multiple ways that they could have gone about it. I don't think they did it the right way necessarily, but...
Well, it's like we've said a few times, things that were easily fixed or tweaked back into like, oh yeah, that works. Everything's a little bit off. But that said, how do you now feel that, you know, we were right? They did use the destruction of this flagship, most important big ship of the Imperial fleet, to get home. What do we think? Or what do you think of them being that quick, that easy? And it was relatively easy. Just fire torpedoes, it exploded, boom, plan off without a hitch. Now we're back home-ish. What do you think about being that easy and that plan, actually?
Well, as you said along, it's a little bit contrived, and a little bit simplistic. It was almost like a story written by someone in high school. Just the simplicity of it all. I mean, I think it would have been better to have the core inside, have Michael have to shut it down, maybe eject the spores somehow so the spore was sort of surrounding the ship, and do some kind of interaction that way. Like pump them out of all of the vents on the side of the nacelles or something. Would have made more sense, I think. I mean, the ship...
Or at least been more sci-fi-y.
Yeah. I mean, the ship looked daunting. It looked imposing. I think that was also part of the point they were getting across. It's the Emperor's ship. It's supposed to look mean, and when you see it, you're supposed to go, "Oh my God, how'd they do that?" Or "That's impressive." But like I said in our talk on the Charon, I didn't think it looked anything Star Trek-esque, anything that would be Federation, even Terran Empire or our Empire, just doesn't fit with the Federation look. So I think they could have probably done it a little bit differently to make it fit in a little bit better. But overall, I understand why they did it. Kind of a throwaway ship if you got 3 episodes with it.
Yeah, and considering they had John do 12 ships for the pilot and then 9 Klingon ships for the pilot, and then it's a lot of ships, and then this one's only in 3 and gets blown up, and we do get closer to it than most of the other ships though. We get a few more
very
shots
close to it. Yeah. And some nice beauty passes of the Discovery as a result, which was really nice to see finally. So yeah, overall I was
Well, you did call out at the time, though. That was a great last 8 minutes.
For sure.
Action beat.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But
I loved
kind
it.
of
And like I said, I love the little GoPro on the Discovery kind of strut where you can see the ship coming up and they fly through it. It was just awesome action shots.
But it is still a bit, we mentioned in the review, you know, the Emperor, she got to be Emperor. Probably wasn't born into it because of the way their culture works, you know? And to have this big ship, who knows how long it took to make, how many slaves, how many things sacrificed, how new it is, how advanced it is, maybe put all the Defiant secret tech on it, you know, it could be anything. And to willingly accept, okay, yes, you've lost all your battalions, but I doubt every one of her troops are dead. That seems a bit, that's contrived. If Lorca could kill everybody except in the throne room, say that. And they said deck 1 to 17, but it feels like it's more than 17 decks, given the Enterprise E is like 29, and it's not, you know what I mean? It's not a ship you can fly a ship through, unless it's a shuttle. So it's probably got like 30 or 40 decks, I would guess.
Yeah, a lot of those could be the spore cultivation rooms and things like that, maybe.
True. But does that sort of defeat the point of having an easy deck layout if some of them are like 3 floor decks and you skip 7 decks because they're all, you know? Yes, that's very true. I guess if you only count livable decks, why say they killed decks 1 to 24, but sir, decks 17 to 21 aren't habitable, so they didn't kill anybody. It's like, okay, fair enough. But it's like, okay, would have been nice to have heard, you know, they've killed everybody except in the throne room. But that more explicit would have even added more tension, because we see the troops, and I guess if you watch back the episode, you only see the troops that she has in her room. You know, she sends out her little battalion with the Black Lady that's from Discovery. She gets killed, and then they go in and attack the throne room. The rest of the people get killed, and then she goes and hides in a special safe room. I guess you could imply that she's completely out of troops, but they don't do a brilliant job at really setting up the situation, a clear sense of the risk, of the reward, of the you know, if Lorca can take control that quickly. You know what I mean? They focused on the character beats rather than the story beats a bit too much, you know? So they didn't build the atmosphere the same way. But again, was the Mirror Universe arc rushed or paced inconsistently with the interesting lead up and then the middle bit and then this bit?
Personally, I think it was pretty well paced. I did like, well, I was hoping they'd go to the end of the season and have the cliffhanger be when they get back, which, as I said with this last episode, could have been the cliffhanger season ending. I mean, come back and the Klingons have won the war, dun dun dun, and then wait till September to find out what happens.
Yeah, so you've got a season 2. That's a hell of a bold, season 2 piece. So.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're gonna do the next 2 episodes. I mean, I'm obviously excited to find out, but I think the pacing was really good, and I'm glad they stretched the Mirror Universe over a few episodes. But I expected it to be a few more. And some of the characters kind of fell to the wayside too, like Captain Killy, just
and Saru until the end.
Yeah. So I don't know if the character use was all that great, but I didn't think the pacing was bad. I mean, it did feel a little rushed in that last half of that episode.
Yeah.
But it made it action packed. It made it fun to watch. So.
Yeah, you can tell that they've obviously rejigged the series quite heavily. And so, whereas they had to filler at the start, these ones are super like, just what needs to happen is just what happens, and we're going to barrel through it. And then they got the 2 extra episodes because they had to push everything else, so whatever. But I wish this was a 2-parter. You know, I mean, think about the situation, right? What just happened is, the captain that manipulated the Federation, faked being Starfleet for over a year, was able to get as command of the most advanced technological potential ship in all of Starfleet, got that ship to work with the help of manipulation, single-handedly almost, you know, won the war, killed Takuma, then manipulated his crew to get to the Mirror Universe, and got them to get him to the Emperor successfully, and got Burnham on the ship, and did a rescue and mutiny, and he frees everyone and gets killed in the same episode, and that is your lead, your captain lead, and that's the entire season build and payoff, and you do a 1 episode. That's why I think that was rushed, because you didn't get a sense of how big or powerful the ship was, how big or powerful the Emperor was. She was actually very weak by the end of it, which might be a good thing. She might have been a very peaceful-ish Emperor. They do say she was especially tyrannical earlier on. But you know what I mean? Like, when you put into that context of that much build-up, the payoff is so quick. I know those 5 episodes of filler. You know, I know they built those episodes in. It would have been would have made more sense, I think, if they'd had you know, deal with the cloaking issue. That's the plot. Mirror, boom, it's Lorca, then back to Klingon. Like, mid-season is Lorca finishing and then push back on. But the way it's reframed, it's like, it's a lot of build-up. Oh, he's a one-tone villain, now he's dead.
Yeah.
Two-parter.
Yeah.
Give us some tension. You know, give us some build-up on that bit. But hey, the next two might be amazing that I was like, I was thinking, damn, wish we got to this sooner.
And one thing I wish we would have seen was the Defiant. That was kind of like a big hype up and then total letdown.
Well,
but that's what it is, you know.
Well, they couldn't have won with that because they're not using prime timeline designs, and they needed to use prime timeline design. So either way, there'd be the fact they even showed a wireframe gave us some amazing content, but showing it would only bite them in the bum because they couldn't do it to please fans. They couldn't, and if you're not doing it to please fans, then no one else would care, you know. Every non-fan, for them, that's an exposition no one cares about. But for fans, they need to do it a certain way. So best they didn't do it because they wouldn't have got that right.
Good point. But anyway, guys, I think that's it. We were proved right with the fact that this was a plot contrivance to get them back into the primal timelines. That was awesome.
A little bit easy and a little bit killer destructive of a lot of people just for the sake of it.
Yeah, well... Yeah. Anyway.
As is stories.
And imagine the tales that are going to be told of the prime timeline ship that came across and destroyed the Emperor's ship, killed everybody on board. The Emperor is supposed dead. They're going to think that we're the evil Empire after all.
Well, that's the joke. If no one sent out a message, then for all the Empire knows, Charon just had an accident, it blew up. Boom, next Emperor.
And that could very well be the case. That could very well be the case. Anyway, guys. If you liked the video, click that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video around with everyone you think that would like it. And also don't forget our Facebook page. Go check it out.
And if you want to support us directly, you can support us on Patreon, a monthly donation service, or a one-time donation at Trekyards.com. We do a lot of great content for you guys, and any little bit you can give back, because you're going to get a lot of bang for that buck, because we're going to make the content either way. But with your support, we can make it better and guaranteed to make it longer. So thank you in advance if you can support us.
That's right. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Connor Coggins.
Bye.
Bye, guys.